Hello.
Hi,
guys.
welcome back, fatties.
Welcome.
To Two Fat Asses
Welcome.
podcast.
We're back. How's it going?
Happy Pride.
Happy Pride. Happy Trans Pride.
Mm-hmm. I'm good.
Hope
How are
everyone
you?
is out there, living life in this regime.
We got some good food today.
We do.
We got some stewed chicken.
Brown stew chicken with cabbage. She got rice and peas.
With that ass.
And little cocoa bread.
Oh yeah, the cocoa bread.
Delicious.
We're gonna dip right into this.
So now, unnecessary. However,
delicious.
Will I eat a lot of it? Yes, because it's delicious. But okay, so we're back. Today we are. I should have a phone, shouldn't I?
Mm-hmm.
Today we're back. We're gonna deviate a little bit from what we've been doing with the 90 Day Fiance stuff, and we're gonna unpack this documentary that's on Netflix called The Crash. I'm not sure if you guys have seen it. A lot of people probably have. It's been number one for Netflix. A couple of weeks now. Short synopsis. High school sweethearts, high school kids, small town, fatal accident happens. Who did it? Was it an accident? Were drugs involved? Was it alcohol? We're going to kind of go through and talk about it from the aspect of parenting styles, how much kids are on TikTok and social media and how all that kind of plays into, unforeseen fucked up shit happening, unfortunately. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So the documentary pretty much opens with the crash scene. Car completely split in two. Police, I'm assuming they got a call or something because they show up at the scene. The car looks completely mangled. And so they call in the ambulances and everybody. 2 kids are dead on the scene. One of the parts that I had to go back because I was like, did he say that? As they were assessing the vehicle and trying to see who was injured, who needed an ambulance. One of the kids in the front seat, he was like, damn. He was like, rest in peace, buddy.
Oh, geez. I
didn't catch it at first either. And I was like, damn. So like very just automatically heart-wrenching. Mm-hmm. You can make all the types of assumptions that you want, alcohol, drunk driving, whatever the case may be. But so 3 teenagers in total, Mackenzie Sharilla, Dominic Flanagan, and Davion Flanagan and Dominic Russo. All of them had just graduated high school. I want to say like the day before, maybe. They had just graduated. This takes place in Strongsville, Ohio. Small town, quiet, low crime, which I thought kind of stood out how these small towns, they tout them as being very safe and not a lot of crime happens. They tend to be quite white, very not diverse. Really, as far as being able to give it the name or the label of being a safe town. There's no crime, there's no murders or a bunch of robberies. So everyone's kind of like, how could this happen? We just are so, oh my God, how could something like this happen? So Davion and Dominic are dead on the scene. As soon as the cops arrive, they're deceased. Mackenzie, they found her kind of under, she was in the driver's seat. She was kind of under the driver's seat a little bit. They rushed her to the hospital. I think both of her legs were broken. She had like a broken clavicle. Like she was very fucked up.
But alive.
but alive, the only one that survived. So, this is a horrific scene. Um, the footage of them, I guess, I found the documentary a little interesting because they pretty much included her social media throughout the entire documentary. Just of how much she was online, how she was always posting. I mean, it's typical Gen. Is she Gen Z technically, or is she Gen Alpha?
Gen Z.
She's
Because it happened in 2022.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So typical Gen Z behavior. Life is online. Everything is online. Posting, posting, posting. Of this friend group, the friends Rosie, Dom, Mackenzie, and Davion, and Bubba. So Rosie has like 200K followers, like, which also lets me realize and understand that there are so many different pockets of the internet with so many quote unquote like viral and famous people that you've never ever heard of in your life. Yeah. However, it was an indicator to me just to let me know how much they were online and how much they all loved being online. Maybe not all of them, but at least Rosie and Mackenzie, and I feel like they bonded because of, modeling and, having attention. So I'll pick it up where they come into the hospital. You can see Mackenzie is all wrapped up, bandaged, again, both legs broken. And the cops come in, and I thought it was interesting that the mother immediately was like, "We don't want to talk to you. We need a lawyer."
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, this is a horrific accident and you don't want to cooperate with the police. Right. Suspicious. I just thought that was odd because most parents in anything like that, they're going to want to help. Like, what's going on?
Are the kids okay?
Are the kids okay? Yes. Anything we can do to help, even though it's tragic and all that kind of stuff. It just was it was weird to me. It was weird that she didn't want to cooperate and Mackenzie couldn't remember a thing. Now, could I understand some of that? Yes, because that was a horrific accident. Like the way she was fucked up and busted up. Yes, she probably had head traumas. So being forgetful or having some sort of temporary amnesia, I could easily understand. And just shock. The fact that you're in shock and like trying to process all of this type of stuff.
Yeah.
It was also a little weird that she was still posting.
Yeah.
Like still making posts of like her neck brace, broken legs, and I was like, oh,
when the love of your life is dead.
Yeah,
and you knew that.
It was odd. It was very odd. It was very odd. So she's the only survivor, very busted up and beaten up, still posting, still, living on TikTok, still a social media type of life. Mackenzie's parents, Natalie and Steve.
Yeah.
They cut to them and they're describing Mackenzie and Dom's relationship very casually, very like, I thought it was very much from a like, if they were 25, what they were saying would make sense. But they were in high school. They had been dating since they were freshmen. And from the way the documentary made it seem, they were living together or they lived together. First, Dom had his own place,
yes,
which I couldn't really wrap my head around. I couldn't really wrap my head around. And the fact that the parents were kind of hands off with their relationship, it was just kind of like, they really love each other. They're going to get married. The fact that they did drugs, like this seemed to be common knowledge. It wasn't stuff that had just come out after the accident had happened, after the police had kind of gotten involved and were describing things. They did find drugs in the car. But it ended up coming out that Mackenzie did not have any drugs in her system or alcohol in her system. So yeah, I thought it was really weird, that the dad and the mom, Steve and Natalie, basically were like, yeah, this is a dope relationship. Like this is like it kind of took away from remembering the fact that these are children, that these are high schoolers. So I just thought that was weird.
And the age gap, because he was older than her.
He was older than her. Yeah, he was, which maybe explains why he has his own place. And she went to live with him. It's still, I don't know, too young, but
much too young.
Small town behavior is very doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I feel like there's a very false sense of security because crime doesn't happen. There's no high crime like in urban areas. And so I think there's this false sense of safety where the kids can do whatever they want. The can like it's a you feel safe, so you're not on edge and you're not worried in the same way that you would be if you lived in a city in some heavily populated place.
Absolutely.
So the friends are describing kind of like what happened the night before. So the kids graduated, then kids are graduated. These kids are high schoolers, maybe freshly graduated, but drugs, alcohol, partying, smoking, all of those things, and all the parents seem to know about it. They don't necessarily like it, but this is what the kids are doing. So Rosie is explaining basically the night before they had a sleepover. They were smoking weed. They had mushrooms, but they didn't do the mushrooms. They were just kind of like watching TV and playing games. It was kind of like, some regular shit. Dom got up in the morning early to leave, which is when this fatal event happened. So that gap of like what happened from the time they left to the time the police showed up at this crash site.
And Davion wasn't gonna originally go with them.
He wasn't gonna originally go, but then he ended up going.
Yeah.
Poor baby. So the cops basically are trying to break down the scene. Of course, they have all the social media. They have a lot of the kids are coming forward saying, "Hey, this is what I know." Again, which
can I chime in really quick?
Yeah.
That to me, it was so problematic when the mother at that scene was like, I need the phone because I don't have a phone and I have a daughter, and so I need she was trying to like keep the phone from them to like actually get the information off the phone.
Yeah.
So that was a huge red flag to me, and she kept on going on and on, being like, what if you're a victim? Like these kids died, and this is your thought process is like not being
to hide evidence.
Yeah, to hide evidence. So I just wanted to point that out. Like that was so fucking weird to me.
No, I totally agree. The mom from the beginning just seemed like she didn't want to cooperate.
Yeah.
She wasn't trying to help the police. She was trying to help her daughter. And at anybody else's expense. It really didn't matter. She wasn't trying to, get to the bottom of what happened. Which makes me think that she knew her daughter enough to know that maybe she could have done some shit. And I can't blame her for being a parent and wanting to jump in and being like, I'm gonna protect my child at all costs, even if they did do it. That's an understandable way to think. I mean, just it's a parent, that's your child. Like you're gonna do anything that you can to make sure that they're safe under any circumstance. So
yes. I also should have got the cabbage. That shit looks good.
Oh, you didn't like the rice?
No, it's good, but it just looks good.
Did you like the food?
Yeah, I do. I'm not done eating. I just wanted to break.
So the police have a whole bunch of evidence. They end up pulling together the footage from cameras that show kind of like how they were driving to the crash site. Put together the fact that they were doing 90 to 100 miles an hour. They specified this one turn and how slowly and carefully that this turn was taken, but yet pretty much the last maybe mile or so that the car was doing 90 to 100 miles an hour. Mind you, this isn't a highway. These are like back streets where schools are. So
just cement block.
Yeah. So like what they show was basically the car speeding, no brakes, right into the building, which explains how the impact basically split that shit in two. The fact that anybody was alive is like
pretty much
crazy. Like it's crazy. So, the families, of course, after the crash are trying to plan these funerals. They're distraught, I'm sure. And who's online? Who's getting DMs about her pictures from a modeling agency. Mackenzie. Mackenzie and her mom are entertaining it too. So it's not even the fact that like someone's reaching out to them, but the text made it seem like they were excited. Like, oh, this is something that she's into. She's been interested for a while. So what are your thoughts about that? Like
Mackenzie. Oh my gosh, could Kim Kardashian maybe be your attorney? Oh my god, that'd be so awesome if you got to deal with Skims. Tell them I wear all the Skims clothes. She's such a little. To me, that's mommy is my biggest fan, and I can do no wrong.
yeah.
And it's just completely inappropriate. It's completely inappropriate. I would say get the fuck off your phone. This is a case where, I mean, I'm just speaking as like, if I'm in that moment and I am the parent, that to me what I was thinking is, you're cooked. This kid is cooked because your mother is a fucking idiot too. The whole family is a bunch of fucking idiots.
Yeah.
They're entertaining at that point in time. That's showing no remorse. That's
very nonchalant about what was going on.
That's what was going through my head. It was like, probably not the best idea to be on your phone and trying to be a model, like with a neck brace
with 2 broken legs.
What the fuck?
At this stage, her legs are still broken. She's in the hospital, and this is going on.
And that is judgment. But I'm just saying, probably not smart if you're thinking from a court perspective. Like, how does this make me look? Like, did you have a thought? No.
And that's where it kind of was on brand to me that the mom's behavior isn't that much better than her daughter's behavior, and the daughter's a child. Like, she's a child. So it's kind of like, if we're looking at it from who raised this person, this lady did. And the dad, who was very nonchalant about her doing drugs. If she's gonna do drugs, marijuana is the best one. Like, just they never seemed to be that concerned about any of the trouble that she was in, anything that was like, why is she doing that? Then they called them into the office, and Mackenzie was about to be suspended or something. And the father was like, well, Mackenzie says she didn't do it, so I believe her.
Yeah.
Like, that was the attitude. If Mackenzie says she didn't do it, she didn't do it.
Hey, I know parents like that I used to hang out with that take full accountability for their children's actions when they say stupid shit.
Yeah. So that gives you a baseline of
that just shows
where and how Mackenzie was. Mackenzie was doing whatever the fuck she wanted to because
Mackenzie ran the show.
Her parents let her.
She was the puppet master.
So, excuse me.
No, you're fine.
So she's posting after these 2 kids are dead. The police are interviewing everyone they can. Some of the kids are volunteering to come in. Dom's brother comes in and basically is saying that Dom and Mackenzie had a very tumultuous relationship. Like, he wanted to break up with her. Everything in the conversation that him and Dom had was that he was kind of like at the end of his ropes and wanted to leave. Kind of like, he said something to the effect of like, Mackenzie's thoughts or like the way she was thinking about Dom was like, if I can't have him, nobody can. And so that happening, but then they cut to a scene of like Dom's dad using a pendulum to try to communicate, and like Mackenzie's there, and like he's like spelling out love, and she's completely like, it all is so weird. But I can understand at this point, Dom's family, they're just devastated. This is a group of friends. 2 of the friends died. So the parents are very much like, well, thank God, like Mackenzie's still alive. Like, it's very like, damn, we're all in this together type shit because this is a tragic event. And, they were kind of like family. So the cops, gathering all the information they did, talking to everybody they decide to charge Mackenzie with aggravated murder ×2. They pull her and her mom over in a car, handling her with very, very kid gloves, not like she murdered 2 people.
White kid gloves.
Very. So, you know, she's distraught. Now, I can only think about myself, and if I was being arrested and somebody said I was being arrested for murder, I'm losing it.
Me too.
I'm losing my shit. What the fuck are you talking about? She was crying, yes, but it was very still like reserved, like not like, bitch, you could be going to jail. Like, bitch, they're charging you with murder, not assault, not robbery, not theft.
Petty theft.
Like, they're charging you with murder times 2. And so from there to, they show her, you know, yes, she's crying, she's upset as anybody would be, but there's still a level of like disassociated. She's disassociated or detached from what's actually happening, is what it feels like to me. So,
She was probably on something too.
I mean, they let the kids do drugs, so
Yeah.
like, I wouldn't be shocked or surprised.
Take it.
Painkiller.
Take a little anti-anxiety.
Yes,
medicine.
exactly. Something.
Just feel nothing.
Something. So, all right. So then it kind of cuts to, of course, she was arrested. They cut to this interview with her while she's, you know, in her prison clothes.
Which a lawyer was in the room the entire time.
Yes. She's trying to make the case about how much she loves Dom and doesn't remember anything. And her whole interview, she's struggling to find tears. She's struggling to bring them out and to be like, to show the sadness and like crying. If that was your high school sweetheart and they died tragically, you would be devastated for a long time. It didn't really make me believe her. Like, all of the things that she was saying was very much like, it's not my character. It wasn't intentional. I don't remember. Which makes sense because her lawyer's there. And so, yes. I mean, it was very dry, if you ask me. So we'll jump into the trial now.
Okay, here's where I come in.
Yes.
And I'm not a psychologist. I'm going to go into 3 different parts, like why did she do it, you know? And then I'm going to go into like psychological analysis and then the research of parenting styles. But at that instant, the courtroom moment, it pretty much said everything. So Natalie's standing up in court. Her outfit is like, first of all, she's entering a courtroom looking like she's just going to walk her dog. Very nonchalant. Honestly doesn't have notes, and she's defending her daughter. Her impact statement is basically 2 young men are dead, and she says, Dominic, okay, I'm asking you for leniency because that was a tragic accident and she does not remember. Davion, he's like a new friend. I'm so sorry. It was very nonchalant.
It was very
and the
nonchalant.
judge
And
stopped
fucked up,
her.
which I appreciated.
Yeah.
That this judge, but let me first add that she chose a bench trial and not a jury trial.
Yeah.
And that's where she really fucked.
Yeah, because then even Mackenzie was like, well, then we should go with the jury, because she said, oh, the whole town's with you, Mackenzie.
And they were. For you. If they would have gone with a jury trial, she probably would have gotten off. I just wanted to add that she chose this. Yeah. And her lawyer let her choose this.
Right. And so she did. The judge stopped her and she said, she stopped her like cold and was like, well, what the hell does that mean? You know, what does that mean? Like, his life is worthless. And Natalie stumbled because she's like thinking through and like, oh, okay, I don't want to say anything wrong. I'm going to jumble through the answer and made it completely worse. And she said that the judge already told her, I'm hearing an awful lot about your daughter and I'm not hearing much about the 2 dead. So she didn't walk in that courtroom as a mother of someone who is convicted of murder, in my opinion. She walked into Mackenzie's as her manager, as her defender, her biggest fan. And at the same statement, in the same statement, she blamed herself. Like, she was absorbing her daughter's responsibility publicly in front of a judge, just like she's been doing privately probably for years, because she gave her a send out to go to a Halloween concert with Dom's family. So 3 months after the crash, after 2 people are dead, Mackenzie's basically awaiting this trial. And Natalie calls her and says, baby, please go. It's Halloween. You've been lying in the bed for 3 months. That's what she tells the judge, that she has a shrine to Dominic. And so You need to have a moment of fun. And she kept on saying that you just needed to have fun and not just sit there. Why shouldn't a kid process their fucking emotions, is what I'm thinking. Like, if you kill two people, that's a pretty heavy thing. Anyway, she's talks about losing her whole world and who Mackenzie just went and she showed up, and prosecutors describe this outfit as like a corpse costume, like that she wore to this Halloween concert. But here's what really matters about this moment. In the week after the crash, Mackenzie said that she wanted to die and that this was her fault, and that was real. And that was the only window of genuine accountability that has ever appeared. Then Natalie slammed it shut, sending her daughter to a party instead of letting her sit with what she has done. And that window never opened again, like throughout at all. Any of the conversations that they hear through prison, nothing. Then the TikTok, the jailhouse calls. I did want to get into that. The jailhouse calls, they had a coded language. If you've noticed, they were like, it was really fucking weird. So anytime.
Because they don't want to say anything because they knew that, one, I think they knew if this was before the conviction, the lawyers are telling them, don't say no dumb shit on the phone.
Yeah. So in one decoded call, Mackenzie asked if they could tell the police she had a seizure. And in another, because they just use Isa in front of like a syllable. I don't know. It's stupid. I think it's Pig Latin, honestly. I never have done that. And so she basically said, can I just tell them that I had a seizure, like during the accident? And the mother said, don't repeat anything that anyone said to you in the room. Nothing, anyone. Promise me, the story isn't done yet. And so then later, Mackenzie called Dom's family evil, and Natalie validated it completely. There was no pushback. No two people died, Mackenzie. Like, no, nothing. So she also concluded with an inmate that she went to college for nutrition when she was talking to a 45-year-old. And Natalie's on all of these calls and just allowing her daughter to lie to these. First of all, she's talking to a 45-year-old from, sending letters to each other. The mother's not saying anything about that either, just like she didn't say anything about her daughter probably living with someone older than her. But I think that the reason why, so basically I wanted to get into the morning of the crash, and because we can already tell, like, Natalie's pretty enabling. She just enables these behaviors. I also do think that maybe Natalie did, like, yes, she is being recorded on the calls and they are listening. However, I think they know how heavy of like a temperament she has, and they don't want anyone to hear that on the phone as well.
Of course.
Because they know how
the lawyer has advised them.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know how well the lawyer has advised them, but the lawyer advises them, as any lawyer should, don't say anything that could incriminate you on the phone. Don't have a temper. She definitely was getting prompts on how to be on the phone. And I think Mackenzie is aware of, because she's on social media all the time, because she posts a lot, because she lives in that world. I think she was fully aware of how she needed to portray herself.
Yes. Yeah.
Period.
That's why she was struggling so much to get tears. She didn't even get tears. It's because I saw no real tears except for after the fact, because I think she finally hit her like, oh shit, I'm going to jail.
She didn't think she was going to get convicted.
No.
She didn't think that they were going to be like guilty.
Yep.
Guilty times 2.
Guilty.
That's when the tears came, because she was literally in shock. But I also add, just before you move on to breaking down the crash, that Dom's mom ended up bringing a recording of Mackenzie trying to pretty much like break down the door to Dom's house, because she was probably being very aggressive, and he was like, I'm not letting you in, and she was very just like, fuck you bitch, I'm gonna break this door down. So like the I remember in the doc, that's when they said that the energy had changed in the room when they saw that, because she couldn't play this I'm innocent, I just loved him so much, we had a wonderful relationship role anymore. That it was
It
like
was
people were like,
crazy.
oh, actually, we see you have an anger, you have a temper.
Yeah, probably.
You have a temper.
Yes.
So, yes, I just wanted to add that in.
Well, you have a temper when you don't get your way.
Because you always are allowed to get
it
it your way.
Just like in
And
prison.
some of the kids did say, like, they called her a bully.
Yeah.
They said that
she liked being a mean girl.
She was a mean girl. Several people said she was a mean girl. She had bullied them. And I can see that just from what they showed. Of course, this is a Netflix documentary that is not, probably to the highest journalistic standards, but she seemed like a mean girl. She seemed like that was the role. And I'm gonna lie, Rosie, you probably was one too. And I get it. Rosie was writing for her friend because Rosie was at her defense throughout this entire documentary. Like, and I can't say that she's wrong, because this literally could have been any teenager.
For sure.
All of them were doing the same thing. All of them were doing drugs, smoking, drinking, posting on social media, skipping school. I think she called them like the stoners, or like she called them.
Girl.
So
the
it's like,
TikToks were the TikToks and Instagrams were crazy. Just like the level of like audacity. I as a kid, just like there's just
they were children.
There's not a care. I mean, some people care what other people think, and that's just not that family.
No,
they're like, I am who I am.
Yeah,
this is who I am, and this is what I'm about. And guess what? My dad says that marijuana is cool, and I'm allowed to do it. So I'm gonna do it hard. Yeah. I'm gonna post every picture. I'm gonna post. She says she's an influencer, but she's not. She unboxed all the gifts that Dom gave her, so she's trying to like. She really like is lost in the sauce of like the influencer cult bullshit. And she's a kid, of course, like this is what she's living. But the fact that like just how bad and how nobody said one fucking thing to the kid.
No, these kids were living their life as though they were adults. They did not have a lot of restraints on what they could do, where they could go, because they were doing more shit than I had ever done.
Me too, dude.
Drinking, smoking, posting it all online. Like we're millennials. We're definitely the generation that they were like, don't put your shit online.
Yeah,
you might need a job. Yeah. Don't put that shit on there. I mean, private your page.
Yeah, dude. I remember the first time I got a government job. My dad's like, get rid of your Facebook, all of it.
That was the known. Now the kids live their entire lives online. And I could see how the mom was caught up in some of that too. The dad, he just didn't seem like he gave a fuck. But the mom seemed like she was trying to like, a little.
The dad's anti-authority.
Be off the coattails of the daughter.
Yeah, pretty much whatever it took. So this is my theory. Why did she do it? I think she did it. They said that she went there previously, like this. So this is the morning of the crash and what really happened to me. Why did she do it? So the prosecution's theory is Dom was trying to leave. And Mackenzie, who basically built her identity around the relationship since she was 13. That's a long time. You look hot. Anytime. Okay, so basically a witness overheard her say she would crash a car in a video from Don's phone showing her being verbally abusive, what you're saying. So then what you've never been taught who you are outside of another relationship, basically her parents never helped her build an identity that belongs to just her, like build an independence outside of other people. I think she had no identity. I think she built her identity based off of the validation of other people and all that kind of stuff. So she had no tools to survive that feeling of the crash, like actually even like getting broken up with. And that's why it happened, in my opinion. I think that she basically did it because she had no tools to survive the feeling of rejection, because her parents give her all the things that she needs. It's called permissive parenting. So I think it happened. I think just the accident happened because she knew that he was going to leave her. And like you said, if I can't have you, then no one can. And I don't think she cared about living. Because I don't think if you're in the front seat, you think you're going to fucking die.
Yeah.
And so she's going to
I
take
can
her
see
life
that.
as well.
And with all of the drugs that they were doing,
Yeah.
these are teenagers. They got teenage brains, teenage hormones, a bunch of drugs, and the absent parents.
Yes. In the morning, so when the ambulance did come, it was the only time I heard her say, "Is Dom okay?" Like, if you listen in the ambulance, she did have one thought, like, "Is Dom okay?" So that does show, like, she does care. I don't have any doubt, like, she did care about him.
Mm-hmm.
However, the connection, and it's just like she's not fully processing, what happened. So then her claiming she has no memory, and she kept on saying, "I didn't do this on purpose. Like, I didn't do this on purpose." And then she sent the mother a text, which also this is just an afterthought. Like, she sent the mom a text that said, "I'm sorry this happened. Like, I didn't do this on purpose." Like, imagine you getting this message from like somebody. "This is so foul. I didn't do this, but you think I did, and that's messed up." Who the fuck would send a message like that to somebody who lost a child?
Someone who has no depth and cannot read any sort of room and has no sense of, I can't say remorse because she probably feels bad about it, but like, if you've lived your entire life not being held accountable, why should you think that you would ever need to be held accountable?
I agree. So my next thought process was, what is this behavior Mackenzie telling us? Like, what is her behavior? Like, it's obvious that from her environment, the parents, by continuously hiding these things, I do think that I am not a psychologist, but I do think she suffers from some type of personality disorder that has not been just not being able to have the resources to be able to control your temper and to emotionally regulate. I do think she shows signs of BPD, personality disorder. Again, not a psychologist, but there are a lot of people that have been bringing that thought up because she shows 5 of the 9 criteria for the BPD diagnosis. This is based on what the documentary was telling us. The documentary was telling us. Sorry, and based on like the videos that she had, and just like just thinking in my head about the Instagram videos is like, wow, that's like, you're real, like, you are delusional a little bit. Like, this role is crazy. Yeah. So she has an intense fear of abandonment, which is number 1. So Dom was leaving, and the prosecution's case was full on the clinical literature about BPD being frantic, desperate, avoiding abandonment or real or imagined. So when that fear hits, the response to that is catastrophic. Number 2, she has unstable interpersonal relationships. So she described it herself. She's like, "We argued, we got back together, very toxic. It was super rocky." And Dom's family saw it completely different because he saw it as verbal. They saw it as verbal abuse, control, threats, push, pull. Like,
which, can I just chime in for a quick second? Yeah. Is that it's not like none of this behavior was unknown. It really seems like the parents knew how she was.
Yes, they did. That's the point I'm getting to, is like, they just knew and they were hiding it.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
But that's fine, because that's basically synopsizing. But all these things that she has, like the reckless, impulsive, self-destruction behavior, the emotional dysregulation, the chronic feelings of emptiness, the explosive anger, unless she's getting something. I mean, she's basically moments of bad behavior. So there's not really moments of that, because she doesn't even get the chance to grieve, because I think her parents fully know that she's going to, when Mackenzie gets upset or anxious, Mackenzie gets.
Yeah, because the mom said that, she didn't need to be disciplined. She just had a mouth on her.
Yeah, she just had a mouth.
She just had a mouth on her.
She had complete anger and rage issues.
Right.
And suicidal.
Overlooking her behavior.
Yeah, she had suicidal ideation, using suicide as an excuse consistently, saying, "I'm going to kill myself." So now I have the research. So what I think about the parents is that they have a permissive parenting style. And from UC Berkeley, there's a woman named Diana Baumrin, and she spent decades studying what the parenting styles are, and they actually produce in the kids. So her finding on permissive parenting, because there's like authoritarian parenting, laissez-faire, like permissive is basically enabling. So this style is pretty straightforward. So when the parents prioritize freedom over responsibility, so children, they don't develop the emotional skills they need to survive, like, or handle frustration, disappointment, feelings, any type of big feelings. Like, you would teach it, like, I have a toddler. I'm teaching my toddler these things right now. You have to teach them at a very young age instead of just saying, hey, here's a fucking toy, here's an iPad, whatever, here.
Sure.
Right? It's harder to do that.
Because there's a lot of adults who still don't have the skill.
It's very stressful being a parent, and it's really hard. So sometimes it's easier for some people.
Yeah.
That would be the easy thing to do. Don't fucking have kids if you can't do that. But regardless, basically, she never had to do any of that. She never had to decipher hard things on her own, to figure out hard things on her own. Her parents consistently took the blame, made excuses. Before the child can learn anything. Like, this is just, we see it in the marijuana admission, like that's a huge thing. The unchallenged and unchecked TikTok, the permission to move in with the boyfriend, permissive parenting and substance abuse. So this study through NIH found out that parental permissiveness through drugs and alcohol use didn't just allow the behavior, it predicted like a dangerous behavior across the board with teens, with permissive parenting. Like, the parents that are like, it's okay if they drink and do drugs.
Yeah, as long as they do it in my house.
Right.
As long as they do it under my household and I can keep an eye on them.
Yeah, it was 3 times more likely they were going to drink heavily, even in like a small increase of the permissiveness, like translated. It would be up to 4 to 5 times like a negative consequence per year. So when Steve said, at least she's not shooting up, what Mackenzie heard was like, all of these risks are acceptable.
Yeah.
So that interview was just so bad to me. Just every risky behavior after that, like when the dad did that dope interview, whatever. So then there's a biosocial theory, which is in the invalidating environment. So there's Dr. Marsha Linehan, who created DBT, which is like those lists that I went over. Like, if you hit 5 of the 9, then you are likely to have BPD. Some type of, I'm just thinking she might have some type of personality disorder based off of like, those check marks. I'm not going to say that's for sure. But she created the DBT, which is the gold standard for the treatment of borderline personality disorder. So she developed a theory about how it forms, and she said it's called a biosocial model. And the short version is basically somebody develops BPD when they have innate emotional, she calls it sensitivity, grows up in an environment that dismisses or invalidates their emotional experience. Because even in prison, Kinsey, that's okay. Don't think like that, Kinsey. You're gonna have kids. You're gonna get married. You're not everyone loves you, Kinsey. You're gonna be a model, Kinsey. Fucking weird. I'm a cool mom. Shut the fuck up.
Not living in reality.
Anyway, she said that, yes, just basically that environment is just rewarding extreme emotional outbursts. It's invalidating. Like, it's basically like,
I know a lot of adults
who
got rewarded for their extreme emotional outbursts.
Right. So the child learns, my feelings just, they don't count. But if I fall apart, someone's going to respond. Somebody's going to pull me out of the shit.
Come baby me, pat me on the back.
I remember, just as an aside, my dad, I did something really fucking dumb. I passed a fucking bus. It was just a stop sign. Kids were not coming off. Let me just clarify this. I was going around the bus when the stop, because it was 4:20, trying to get to a college party, just dumb. I was dumb as fuck. I was a teenager. Dumb. Past this thing. Bus. after the fact, after my dad written me a new one and then goes to court and like tells the judge sometimes in life we give our kids enough rope to hang themselves, I was embarrassed. I felt like shit. He was basically like, if you're gonna have to pay this on your own, like you're gonna have to figure out, you're not getting a lawyer.
Consequences.
He's like, I'll talk for you, but we're not gonna get you a lawyer. We're basically like, you're a piece of shit for doing that. That is really fucking dumb. So I'm like, props. Looking back as a parent myself, I'm like, that is really ridiculous. I mean, like, that's what is
Because kids do dumb shit.
Right.
The parents are supposed to be there to help them, to reel them back in and not do more dumb shit and to learn to do better.
So every time they rushed in to like help, her pain, instead of like help her process it, was to her detriment. And that fucking Halloween thing was crazy. Like, she should have stayed home and fucking looked at the shrine every day and been able to like process her feelings with that. Go to a fucking therapist, dude. Like, don't, whatever. I don't know. My next point is enmeshment. So I think the family's highly enmeshed. She has like a very enmeshed relationship. And basically what happens when the parent and child become so emotionally like fused, neither of them functions independently. I'm not saying that the mother didn't have her own life. I don't know what she did for work. So like I tried to research.
Yeah,
I saw some point like she's a nurse. So like career wise, like she had something going on. I'm not saying there's anything with even just being a mom, but like when your kid is a teenager, you probably should have your own thing going on and your own things to do.
Absolutely.
So like, but she seemed like she gained from her. It's so crazy to me. She like gained something from her daughter being like popular on the internet, and it was really fucking creepy. Like moms like that, like dance moms or moms that have their kids.
Reminds
like,
me of that
John Benet Ramsey
whatever
shit.
that documentary with the mom catfished her daughter.
Oh, yes,
she
like,
seemed obsessed about being in the crowd. It's like, bitch, you're an adult.
Right, you're an adult.
Leave these fucking teenagers alone.
Jealous, like I'm not saying, but there's a little level of that. Do you feel me?
Yeah,
and
there's definitely
right. So essentially, like this super closeness, this kid, her Mackenzie, couldn't like develop a personality of her own. So like I do think it's it's super controlling. Like that kind of behavior is controlling. You're not giving your kids the resources to go out in the world. That's the hardest fucking part. Once you let them outside the door, that's scary as shit, letting a kid outside in the world.
And hoping
it's easy
that they carry everything that you taught them.
Right. And they're going to fuck up. And yet, does that mean that you're a bad parent? Maybe. But if you continuously like, don't let them live out, have a lived experience and come to these conclusions on their own, I think it's to their detriment. I mean, yes, they're very young. Like these kids are very young, but enmeshing your family, that is a form of control. It looks basically like love on the outside, but it's not. It's super controlling and it's toxic. Because the mother couldn't tolerate her pain without absorbing it. And that shows me that the mom didn't have the resources to even, not to be like judging their parenting, but like, you don't have the resources to be a mother. Kids are going to cry. Kids are going to get hurt. Oh, shit. So I see this very vividly in the victim impact statement by her taking the blame. And I see it on the jail phone calls where she's basically like a momager, like falsely, like, you know, all the saying like, oh, Kim Kardashian will be your lawyer. You could be in Skims. Oh my God, have these big dreams. But don't talk about the deaths. Don't talk about the car accident. Don't upset yourself. And what it does to teenagers is it basically doesn't, well, like I said, it doesn't help them with the tools that they need, but they've already had the parent doing it for them and they don't learn to self-soothe. Like when you're a baby, you need a titty to help self-soothe. Natalie had her on that titty for a very long time, up until she was 17 years old. So it feels like they completely become dependent. I think she probably calls her mom every fucking day. Let's be real. I don't really know how that works.
That. Yeah.
But we basically see identity development. Healthy adolescent development requires individualization, figuring out who you are, a separate person from your parents. And then a therapist named Mark Sobel described this as, isn't that the same name? Oh, no. he describes it in this way. He basically says that a person develops an internalized sense of self through healthy individualization. Your environment prevents this, the enmeshment prevents this entirely, and the child's identity says externally assigned. It stays externally assigned and managed, and it's by the parent partner or by like an algorithm, honestly. So I saw that in the TikTok stuff because look, I'm gonna be real. Once she went to prison, once I saw her with her hair, that she has no identity.
She became somebody else on the inside.
Somebody else, even in jail.
And they were probably black.
No, they were, and because she said
she had half of a black scent.
She did
in her interviews,
right? And she said she did, and she did Ariana 2018. She
did.
So basically, what I'm trying to say is, she has no sense of self. This is adamant. Like, I just want to bring up that, like, showing her in prison because,
I picked up on it. It's like, oh, black people on the inside.
Yes. She getting passed around on the inside. But I digress. She's talking about, she's God-fearing now. She's talking about quotes. Like, her mother doesn't even know anything about the Bible. She's telling Mom, this person sent me like Bible verses. Isn't that cool? She's like, oh my God, Kinsey, that's so cool. Oh my God, that's going to make me cry. Like, it's so fake and phony. Just anything to get her daughter not to freak out and talk about the accident. It's just so very.
They're doing a disservice to Mackenzie because she doesn't ever get to be herself.
Right.
And feel. And like, I could see how it's exhausting, especially a young person who never has any support from anyone to just be you. And that's okay. You just being you is good enough, and people will like you because of it. You don't have to keep trying to be everybody else.
Yes.
And everything else.
And that just furthermore says, like, to me, like, that she wasn't set up for success, but not even just that, but the parents don't even see. The fact that the parents don't even see like any of this is problematic is like that would require self-reflection, taking accountability. And obviously we know the father seems like anti like law, he doesn't like the anti-establishment kind of guy. But I think like what should have happened? I think she needed family therapy. Like, what could have stopped this? What could have prevented this accident? This person needed family therapy. All right. They needed DBT therapy, which is behavioral therapy. It's a treatment that works on BPD if she had it. We know she had really bad anger issues, even if it were for the anger issues alone. Because it would teach you 4 things: mindfulness, distress, tolerance, and emotional regulation. Basically, and interpersonal effectiveness. So here's the part that matters most for this story is basically for teenagers, DBT, it's a family therapy. It's a family treatment. The parents are going to be in the room. The parents are going to learn the same skills and how to take that, because since you can't teach a child to tolerate distress, and if every adult around them immediately tries to eliminate it, they could have prevented this from even happening. Like, for other parents that feel like, if you feel like your job is to make just every hard feeling disappear, that's not going to help your child. Like, in the end, I think, like, for me, learning about this type of, I didn't know they had like family therapy for like to basically teach parents how to parent is what it
seems needed these days. That's great. That's great, actually.
Yeah.
Because some people need that. To be honest, some people's were not parented, and you can only teach what you have been taught.
Yes.
Like, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to hold you. A lot of us are lucky to be here and evolved in the way that we have, because I can tell you, I got boomer parents. They weren't taught a lot of shit.
And I had an immigrant.
Lot of shit. So, like, they can only teach us what they knew and what they thought was right.
Back in the hand.
Yeah, plenty of that. Me and my sister was reminiscing about getting hit with a switch when we just come on, you can beat with fucking branches. Like, come on. So, but each generation hopefully will learn better and do better. I feel like that's the ultimate goal, although that does not always happen, because sometimes you do have cases like Mackenzie's parents who probably had very lackadaisical upbringings. They have a lackadaisical upbringings. They're probably like, well, I turned out fine, so my parenting can't be too bad if I turned out okay.
That's exactly what they say. But also, you're not living in 2026, honey, and we're 2022, where you've got Instagram, social media, every single thing where a kid. Where do you go with it? Where do you stand with that? It's like, I won't even let my kid touch. I mean, at their age, I won't even let them touch any bullshit. I don't want them to get used to that. I want them to be, look, maybe I'll regress a little bit societally, but I want them to be more into the outside and learn people skills, learn how to relate to people.
Absolutely.
Learn what the real world is like.
Yes, learn how to talk to people.
Right.
Learn how to say hello and hold a conversation with an actual person.
You see this shit with the David case, the D4VD case. It's just these kids. I know you wanted to tie into the other case. You wanted to.
Well, let me just say to wrap this up.
Yeah.
Mackenzie was found guilty.
Yes.
Of murder. She was sentenced both for Dominic and Davion's murder. She was sentenced to 15 years plus life concurrently, which means in 15 years she has a possibility of being paroled out. Although she filed an appeal, that initial appeal got denied. She found a recent appeal. This was according to the Time magazine. This was according to Time magazine. They did an article about this, and her second appeal also got denied somewhat recently. So I will just leave this with, they failed. To me, a lot of the parents failed all of these children.
Yeah.
It's really unfortunate that lives were lost, but all of these kids were failed parenting wise.
I thought that was the most interesting point, that when we were talking about this and doing the research for it and just watching it, that was oh wow, all the parents really did fail.
Nothing that these kids were doing was a problem until somebody died.
Yeah.
And I think that's the sad part. Again, nobody should ever have to bury their child. But I would hope this town and towns like it would look at how you're parenting these kids, because they're kids. Your brain is not fully formed until you're 25.
You must guide them.
And if I can contrast this case, because Kinsey is a young white woman who essentially was found guilty of murdering both of her friends. So I guess, I don't know what aggravated murder is. I guess she somewhat had intent, but it wasn't completely planned out.
Yes.
But Carmelo Anthony, the case of the young man in Texas who was, I don't know, he had a 3.0, 4.0 GPA, very smart, who was bullied and defended himself, was found guilty of murder and sentenced to life. 35 years to life.
Yeah.
So if Mackenzie and her friends were Black children in any urban area, in any area, everyone would be like, where were the parents? How come the parents let this happen? How come the parents were letting them do drugs? Why were they allowed to be drinking and smoking and doing all this other type of stuff? They were terrible parents. And the contrast to me, although unfortunate, is two different standards of parenting that's allowed. Mackenzie was allowed, and all of them kids were allowed to be parented very lackadaisical, and everything they do is fine. They didn't murder anybody until they did. Kids who grow up in urban areas, Black children specifically, don't get cut any sort of breaks, even if they're parented the right way. And that's the part that I take away from this personally, especially with what's going on right now, because it's just very telling to me. It's telling to me that Netflix put this documentary out and gave her ground and a spotlight to be like,
I know,
look,
I fell for it too.
I didn't do this.
Yeah.
Look at me, I'm cute. Look at me, I'm just a cute little white girl.
Too pretty to be in jail.
I am too pretty to have done any of this. No. People got pages for her, free Kinsey. They threw in the one guy was like, she's just too beautiful to have done this.
Yeah, that's what
we need to get her out of jail right now. And it's just like, okay, like, sure. Did the families get justice? Yes. But did Mackenzie learn a lesson?
No.
Did the parents learn a lesson?
No.
This is carrot cake, by the way.
It's delicious. Yeah, I just think it's interesting seeing as well, just with the times, like this shit it's happening in real time. Like it is historical, like all the shit that we're gonna like be able to like talk about, like, and just be a part of, and seeing it all on like on your phone, being able to just see all of it on your phone.
That's the thing I really did take away from a lot of this too, was that your phone will give you up.
Oh yeah.
Your phone will tell all of your business, and the way that these phones are integrated into our lives, you really can't commit crime.
Patriot Act, baby.
Pretty much. You cannot commit crimes in the way that you used to be able to commit crimes. They can go through and do and analyze your phone and figure out what you wanted for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Oh my God, you're not crazy.
Like the way that these phones are basically like, because that's how they were able to break a lot of this case, was through her phone and all the kids' phones. One of the kids had Life 360, so they could see like, oh, this is where they were. Like everything is following you, learning your behaviors. You know, the fact that she was Gen Z and her whole life was online, it was easy to go through her page and other people's pages and kind of get an idea of what, if it wasn't her, what she presented to the world that was her. So like, it's kind of unfortunate because it's very much so a young person's way of thinking about things, which is social media is not real. Like everybody who puts stuff on there is not real, but it's like, but people will still think that about you because that's what you're putting out. So if it's not the real you, people have every right to think that it is, because that's what you're portraying.
Period. Kids don't realize that.
And it's sad.
Where would you stand if, like, see, I would never I just feel like it's an unsafe, incriminating place. Just in general, I wouldn't even, where I stand is I wouldn't do, at that age, I would not allow, just because other people have, I'm sorry, once you leave the house, you can have TikTok, whatever the fuck you want to have.
I think it is dependent upon the child.
Yeah.
And how the child shows themselves to be responsible.
Correct.
Which I think is still how parents raise their kids. Because my parents did a great job in the grand scheme of things of raising me. However, my parents also were not worried about where the fuck I was. My parents also were not like, sometimes they were like, who are you hanging out with? But once I pretty much developed my kind of locked in group of friends, my parents did not give one fuck about what I was doing. Yeah, but a trustworthy teenager?
No.
Exactly. That's my point. That's my point. I think I was lucky and I was blessed to not have gotten into no real shit that could have gotten me in any sort of situation like Mackenzie. Like, luckily I didn't drink in high school. I didn't really, all my friends that I hung out with were like, had something going, like had goals, had dreams, like, but because it's a conversation that we had like not too long ago, was like, our parents really weren't shit for that. Like, our parents literally did not know what the fuck we were doing, and we would be out all types of night, period.
Yeah.
And so, like, I think it depends on the child, because not every kid who comes from a fucked up parent is going to be fucked up. And not every kid who comes from a good family is going to be a good child.
Correct.
So I do think it depends on the child and what they exhibit.
The variables.
Yeah. How are they showing you that they're responsible? Can you trust their decision making? Can you trust the fact that they know how to decipher, especially nowadays, between AI and something that's real? You know, I think it is hard and fast lines for me don't necessarily make sense all the time, especially if you have an extremely responsible child who you can actually trust and who will come to you with questions and say, hey, why is this like this? Or, hey, I don't know if I like this. Or, so, I think, but I think it's something every parent should evaluate to see, not just give your child a tablet and say, here, get out of my face.
It's also hard just being a parent in America where they don't give a fuck about women. They don't give a fuck about just babies. I mean, you are supposed to leave a baby if you're lucky in our state, you get 6 weeks you get 12 weeks. Like certain jobs, 6 weeks I think is FMLA, but whatever. But what I'm trying to say is this is the most, from 1 to 3 is a child's like formative years, like younger childhood years, and you're expected to just go back to work, go do this and that. And so being a parent in America, they want you to be secluded, go on your iPhone, whatever. Kids are going to be raised by the fucking internet. There's no village anymore. There's no community unless it's like a cultural thing. Like certain people, like, yeah, if that's her community, that's a shit community. But like, I'm talking about where the generations are present, where the grandmother's there helping, like in the olden times, like where you have like an actual village to help you. No, you're expected to get back to work and be a worker and leave your fucking kid. And that's fucking tough being a parent. I'm not giving them grace because it's for their shitty parenting. Like, I shouldn't judge because I don't have a teenager, but I, in my heart of hearts, like, that would fuck me up as a parent. Like, I just know who I am as a human being. And that is just, that kind of behavior is just, I would be like, wow, I have failed you and I'm going to try to fix you now. Like if I would have a reflective point.
Sure.
But this country country doesn't really allow parents to be actual parents. Honestly, they don't give a fuck about.
And some choose to. These parents, neither one of them were accountable. So to me, there's no expectation that Mackenzie would ever hold herself accountable because the parents have not exhibited that behavior.
No.
She doesn't know what that means. What do you mean? Be accountable for what I did.
Yeah, dude.
For what?
It's just whatever. It's a tale as old as time. These are families that we pass on a daily basis that it just didn't happen to them.
Yes.
It might.
And maybe, and hopefully this is a warning to people with younger kids, especially about social media and just letting your kids run wild on social media. Because I do also with her parents enabling her behavior, so did social media. Social media is where these kids think, yes, they think that because I have a bunch of followers, because people are liking my stuff, that means that they agree with what you're doing. And like the voyeurism with all of it is like where these kids' heads get fucked up. And it's like, no, you don't. Yes, you have 250,000 followers. You don't know any of these people. They're not your friends.
The real part's you're in jail.
And they can't save you. Are they contributing to your bail? Are they putting money on your books? Some of them probably are because of the whole just internet. If she's still on the internet, if she's still posting.
I don't know about that part, but I do know this, though. I just wanted to say that there are inmates that have spoken out that have been there with her, and they say, like, every day she wakes up, does her makeup.
Of course she does.
A performance.
Absolutely.
Never has shown any remorse whatsoever. She just wants to be the cute girl.
And I think because of that, she has no problem being in jail. Yeah. I don't think she has a problem with any of this.
Food, like
the whole of being arrested. I don't think any of this is like, oh my God, this is terrible. I think this is just the next show for her.
Like Gypsy Rose, dude. I mean, I don't know if like but whatever. You're right. The jail thing, like, because Gypsy Rose was in jail trying to like.
I'm not that familiar with her.
Okay,
but
whatever.
Yeah, I've never got any impression that she was devastated. Like, this is my life is over. To me, it's the next performance.
Yeah.
Okay, where's jail me?
And that's what the conversations. That's what the conversations all show. Like,
what are
they talking about? I mean, like, do you think Kim is gonna respond? Tell her I have all the scams. That's just crazy to me. Like, that is your idol. Like, that's crazy. That's an insane idol for kids to grow up with. And the internet just in general is like, So fucking crazy. It's a Wild West, dude.
You have to parent your kids all the time.
All the fucking time. Every age.
All the time you have to parent your kids. Even when they're grown-ups.
And is it hard, like, to deal with a kid's emotions? Of course. But, like, get your shit together. Go talk to your therapist.
Or don't have children. Children are a lot of work.
They're a lot of work.
And I do actually, because I've been hearing more that, like, you know, the birth rates are going down, which I'm not mad at, because a lot more people need to be evaluating why they're having children. The why. Not just because you feel like you need to and you got to hit some maternal clock and I'm almost 30, so I got to have a baby and I got to get married and I got to do all this shit. No, why the fuck do you want a child? And are you ready to take care of a child 24/7, 18 plus years?
You're making me not want to now.
But many people need to think about this shit because, like, it's a lot of work. It's hard. It's not fun. Like, it can be after a while. Like, right. Like,
have sex. Like,
kids are little people and little human beings, and
it's a lot of work.
And I don't always think that a lot of people see it that way, that they look at children as raising little human beings.
They want them to just, this is what I think as well too, is like they just want them like sit there, shut up, not really want them to be kids, not really want them to have human
opinions,
thoughts or anything.
Analyze things, ask questions.
Kids want to talk. Kids have great thoughts. It's fucking awesome.
And great views of the world. Yeah, they do.
And so, I don't know. That's the beauty, I think, of kids, is because it is that innocence. And, like, you want to keep the innocence as, you know, but you want to, like, you have to hone it and you have to nurture it and help it grow and guide it. Not just, like, dismiss it, give it a thing, whatever. Like, it's just so fucked up. It's just it's just that's why I wanted to even talk about this, because honestly, like, it's so played out, this whole conversation. It's inundated. Everyone's like talking about, at least I don't know, on my algorithm I like hit it every day. Like,
oh wow, like, really?
Somebody comes up talking about this thing. Yeah. Probably because, like, I don't know, because I researched about her chart. I researched, like, you know, I researched all this stuff about her.
Your algorithm was like, you want to see more of this.
Yes, and it's like every single day, just like the D4DD stuff. I'm like, because I wanted to see, like, I want to look at her TikToks. I wanted to look at, like, what her parents do for a living. I wanted to look at all this stuff. The dad was a teacher. He got fired. So, I mean, that's like, I'm curious, like, he's probably like, I'm going to get a lawyer. It was like a private school, so they had to do like chaos control. He looks like a fucking idiot. You're going to an interview with a boom shirt after you're going to a Netflix documentary filming with a boom shirt after your kid got into a severe car crash and killed 2 people. You fucking idiot. Are you stupid? Like, yes, I think these people are fucking stupid, but I don't know. I don't fucking know. Whatever. But we're done this conversation. I don't know if I have any closing points, I think.
I think I made mine. This is just, to me, just small town America behavior until shit goes wrong and goes bad. And, like, I'm sorry to the parents who lost their kids. But I think the lesson should not just be for the kids, but for the parents as well. That you actually need to parent your kids and not let them live like they're adults. Like, I get it, because kids are a lot and it takes a lot. So once they become teenagers, you do feel like you have, like, a sigh of relief of, like, okay, I don't have to worry about whether or not they're safe every fucking minute. However, they still need guidance. And I don't think that these kids got enough guidance to not have them be in this type of situation.
Yeah, they didn't get the talks. I
don't think they cared. I think, again, and this is small town to me, because there's no high crime, because they're not in an urban area where there's lots of blacks and, oh my God, it's really scary and crazy.
Not my town.
So there's a false sense of safety, except place these kids' behavior in any other town, any other city, and it's like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? Why the fuck are these kids allowed to do all of this shit? Exactly. But it's okay because everybody lives within a mile of one another. So everybody knows one another.
I did figure out it was like a small town, obviously, because like they say Cleveland, but it's like not Cleveland.
They're not in Cleveland. They're not in Cleveland. They're in a city. They're Cleveland adjacent, probably. And that's fine, but there's a false sense of safety in these small towns that bad things don't happen because, you know, there's not a lot of robberies or murders or whatever the case may be. But like, it don't really matter where you are
because
you still need to parent your kids.
Yeah.
You still need to be a parent to your children. So for me, it's more glaring on the parents than it is on these kids because the kids were just doing kid shit.
I agree. And I definitely think that next topic is going to be a lighter topic.
This is very, to be expected. Yeah, to be expected.
All right.
It's unfortunate, but
we're going to send off.
Yeah.
We're on YouTube, obviously. That's where you're watching us. We have an Instagram, Two Fat Asses Podcast.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get a Patreon so you can see. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
We're going to get a Patreon. We're going to get, we have our email if you want to hit us up. Do astrology readings, do tarot card spreads, anything else.
Two Fat Asses Podcast at gmail.com.
There you go.
Like, comment, and subscribe. Share, do all of the things.
Subscribe.
Help us grow.
The subscribe button right fucking now. Hit the subscribe button and share it with your friends. Thank you.
Yep. All right, guys. See you next time. Bye.